Hi there, I'm Gail Wood, and welcome to the Massage and Spa Success Podcast. This is where massage and spa professionals come for tips, strategies, inspiration, and interviews with industry leaders. So get comfortable and let's dive into today's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Massage and Spa Success Podcast. Meet the Experts interview series. I'm here today with Jenny Sheridan are you from Scotland or Ireland?
I'm from Ireland.
Okay. And are you living in Ireland?
I'm from Ireland, living in Ireland, in Dublin.
Okay. I don't know. I must have seen Scotland somewhere on your website. Well, I'm so glad that you could join us today. And Jenny is an aromatherapy expert. You're also an expert in a couple of other things, reflexology as well, right? So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with all of this.
Well, I've been working in the field and teaching in the field since about 1998. I started off doing a healing course. I was interested in all the lovely energy stuff. And like they say, it's kind of once you start doing one thing, it's kind of like a slippery slope business. Then I have to know about massage, I want to know about the oils, I want to know about reflexology, and just on and building them up. But I just love the way that the different therapies combine together. They're very powerful on their own, but combined, they just takes to a whole new level.
And so you ran your own business for several years. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
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 And that was
We
before you got into teaching?
yeah, I started teaching first, and I was teaching in other people's centres, and then eventually in 2012 I opened up my own centre, and that went on until 2019, and I absolutely loved that because I was able to kind of teach I wanted to teach without someone telling me
Yeah.
what not to do, and I could teach the important stuff that people needed to learn.
Yeah. So in Ireland, if you want to be a massage therapist, do you have to have a license like we do in the United States?
No, we don't. We just need to have a recognised qualification, and we need to have insurance.
Okay.
And once we have insurance, and you obviously need to have insurance as well, but no, we don't need to have a license.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a bit different. That sounds similar to how it used to be here.
My nice.
When I first started out in the early 90s, you had your professional insurance and you had your diploma from your school. So, I think I love to learn how they do things different places.
Yeah, I think that the license makes an awful a lot of sense though, because I think it gives people an extra kind of safeguard, doesn't it? Like kind of a. I know we have professional bodies and they have their ethics, but I like to
Yeah.
see a license.
I do think it ensures that people have a base level of qualifications.
Yeah.
So there's some benefit to it. Uh, so you've trained hundreds of therapists, right?
Yeah, you can sound old, Gail.
So it's inevitable. It's happening to all of us. So, what is something that you wish more therapists knew when they were going into massage or the holistic therapies?
Two things, and going back to my own experience and to students' experience too, I wish that they knew starting out that they need to have two skills. It's not just the therapeutic skills; it's the business skills as well. Because when I started out, I thought, well, I'll do my case studies, and they'll think I'm amazing, and they'll tell all their friends about me, and then they all come in there and they'll book. I won't have to do anything. Or if
Yeah.
I really need clients, I can just stick a few cards in my local supermarket and then wait for the phone to ring. And the phone never rang.
Yeah.
Work that way.
I think, yes, I think a lot of us have a similar experience. I imagine that will be a theme throughout these interviews.
Totally. And I think so many therapists are very, I mean, they love the therapeutics, they love the healing, they love the hands-on. But when it comes to kind of the marketing and go out there and talk to people and set up a website and do a Facebook page or a Facebook ad, or kind of, oh God, you just get so overwhelmed. And I did too, so I'm not slagging anyone here.
Yeah. I think now maybe posting on social media would be equivalent to putting your business card in the supermarket, like, we think, "Oh, I can just do this one simple thing,
Yeah.
and clients will come," and there's just so much more to that.
Oh, yeah, 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 so much more. And there's another thing I wish that, therapists knew as well, and they generally don't, is that they need to be work ready and not just exam ready. Because I know when I trained, we did when you finish your massage course, you would do 5 effleurage, 2 pétrissage, 3 pick up and roll, and everyone did exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
And they didn't when I was finished my course and they got their diploma, I would say, "Okay, I want you to come back for a day, and I want you just to work on somebody and don't follow the routine." And they were kind of, "What?" I said, "Just work on the knots, ask client what they need, kind of check in with the client." And that was a renovation. But that even just happened, like having a day of that, it just changed them completely. They were so much more confident and so much more focused on, instead of like being afraid of the examiner looking over their shoulder, making sure they're doing enough effleurage. It was all about, yeah. And what I really like, when I worked with VTCT, they do assessments, and I do assessment now, my online thing. And the assessment is not, it's not, you don't do a certain number of strokes. You have a client coming in, you need to find out what's wrong with the client and do what you can to make the client feel better and give them good aftercare. And it's just,
yeah,
it's so much more real life, and it helps them, and it's great for the confidence.
yeah. So speaking of online, so you have shifted to teaching your courses and classes online.
Yeah.
Um, so how has that changed how you do your teaching? Like, you just said you do assessments
Yeah.
online. What does that look like?
Well, when I started thinking about online training, first of all, because people had asked me to do it, and I would say, no, I can't do online training because when you're doing a therapy course, you have to have somebody watching you to make sure you're doing it properly. Because otherwise, you won't have the confidence and you might make mistakes. You have to have that.
Yeah,
And then I had the brainwave that's actually working really well. So, what the students do now, they would send me in videos as they're learning the techniques. They send me in a video, and I send a video back, and I have voiceover on it. I'd be kind of stopping the video and saying, "Okay, now do you see what you're doing there? Now you need to shift the position of your hands a little bit, drop your shoulders, etc., etc." And they say they find that really good. People who have done in person and online say they prefer it that way, because when I'm talking to them in person, I'm saying drop your shoulders, and I'm saying they are dropped. No, drop your no, they are dropped. Then I put my hand on them and they go, "Oh yeah, they were dropped." But this way, they say, when I'm saying something, they can actually see what they're doing.
oh, yeah, that makes
"Oh my god,
some
my hands are tense. Oh my god, I didn't know that." Yeah, so
yeah.
that's great.
Okay, so it sounds like you really give a lot, of feedback to your students.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's so important. That's one of the most important things in any course, I think.
Yeah. Um, let's see. So let's go back to when you were running your holistic center.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you learned managing your own center?
I think it was really to be more, businesslike. So rather than kind of hoping to get a few bookings and putting out some Facebook posts, I'm kind of ticking along, and it was grand, and I was kind of paying the bills and all that. But when I had to pay a centre, and I had like very high overheads to pay, regardless of how much money I got in, I had to
Yeah,
get much more focused and much more kind of make my goals and plan how I'm actually going to reach the goals, and also working with other people, because at the end of the day, the buck stopped at my door. If it went
yeah,
pear-shaped, I was the one paying the price. I needed to learn to be very clear with people who were kind of working for me, to say, "No,
yeah,
this is exactly what you need to do. This is how you need to do it, and if you want to change, you have to tell me." As opposed
yeah,
to, "Oh, I started out kind of thinking, we'll all just be friends," and kind of thinking, no, in business, that doesn't work. Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah. You have to have those clear, um, communication and ex and it goes both ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. Better for everybody. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
much better.
So how many people did you have working at your center?
I would have had, probably about, the most would have had working together would have been about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then I decided, no, there's actually too many cooks in the kitchen here. It's not going to work. But usually I would have about two or three, and that might, as somebody who might be doing some admin, and somebody might be teaching some tasks to me and stuff like that.
Yeah. Um, so what's like one of your biggest ahas or time you were working with a client and you just were just so amazed at how the holistic therapies came together, or just what was an experience that you had with a client that just was
Well,
a game
one that
changer for
really
you?
stands out, there's a few, well, you know yourself, there's be a lot, but there was when I was actually doing my aromatherapy course, it was a case study, and this
Mhm.
girl had the most horrendous PMT I have ever come across. It was absolutely awful. She said that she wasn't so much kind of irritable as she was flying to rages, and it got to the
So that's
point.
what we call PMS or PMDD.
Oh, sorry, yeah, yeah, PMP and PMS, yeah, see, yeah,
Say okay, just so we're clear.
yeah, it's ice cream. So she would actually fly into rages so much that she said that if she felt it coming on, she could feel herself getting worked up. She had to leave the house. She said, if I didn't, I'd start hitting the kids. And she obviously,
Yeah, didn't wanna do
it was really bad. And she had skin outbreaks that were ridiculous. You know the way sometimes with PMT, PMS, you might get, a bit of acne or your skin is dry or something. She had the most ridiculous dry skin where there was huge flakes. Sometimes they'd be kind of floating off as I was talking to her. And beside that, she would have massive acne. I go, oh my God, how can you have both at the same time?
Yeah,
And her bloating was dreadful. Like she literally looked, the first time I saw her, I thought, she's coming in for PMS, PMT, but she's pregnant. But she wasn't pregnant. She's just so badly bloated that she looked pregnant. So I wasn't sure how much I was going to be able to help her because I was thinking, God, this
yeah,
is me, God help, right? And I wasn't making any promises. I was, look, we'll try the oils and see how they work for you. But she came back in the second week, and the difference in her was absolutely incredible. And the next time that she had a period, she she did still have the symptoms, but they were completely toned down. And then the following week, the following month after that, when she had a period, she said there was no rages, there was no skin eruptions. I've got to say as well, she's also getting horrendous pain, where she might have to take maybe 2 or 3 days off work, and that also was a
yeah,
emotional prospect, getting worried that their boss is going to say, "Time for you to gobbling." But
yeah,
yeah, I just thought, I think about how much it actually changed her life because it helped her relationships. It helped. It wasn't just the pain. It was because she didn't have pain, she didn't take them off. She wasn't worried about the job. So many side effects. And I was thinking like if that was the only thing I ever did was aromatherapy, I'd be kind of saying yes. So
yeah,
and then what I love about it and about all the therapies that they're so, once you know them, they're so easy to use when you know yourself, Gail. So easy to use, and that you can make that difference in a person's life so easily was absolutely.
yeah. And I always think, too, of that ripple effect, you know? She got help for herself and got helped her husband, her kids, her employer, and who knows, maybe a lot of times when we help our clients, they go and they tell their friends, "You've gotta try natural therapies," or they just start spreading the word. So and I imagine she had probably gone to some medical professionals
Yeah.
prior to coming to you.
And there was nothing was really helping her. She'd get told to take Panadol or something like that, and that's going to dull the pain. It's not going to solve the problem.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So so if somebody's new to aromatherapy, what are some mistakes that you see therapists making? Or maybe even therapists that just say, "Well, I'm just gonna go out and buy a bunch of oils and just start using them."
Yeah, no, I'd say one of the first things I learned when I was doing aromatherapy, that even though they're natural, it doesn't mean they're safe. Because I started out thinking, well, sure, if one drop of lavender is good, well, then 10 is better. On the
Right.
basis that if one apple is good, well, then five is even better, isn't it? So the more the merrier sort of thing. But no, it can have, if you use them incorrectly, they can have very dangerous and very unpleasant side effects. So you really need to go and check out how to use them. And one of the things I would say is that, well, three things to start off with: that you don't take essential oils by mouth unless you have to do training, because people have actually died from taking essential oils by mouth. You don't put essential oils directly on the skin. You have to mix them with an oil first of all, like an oil, or as in a vegetable oil or a cream or something first of all, and you have to blend them correctly. So generally you will do 2 drops of essential oil per teaspoon of your
Mm.
vegetable. So people really need to be aware of that.
Yeah. So, for a basic massage, I use a little 2-ounce cup of cream.
Yeah, lovely.
So that's maybe 10 drops of oils at the most.
Yeah, well, I kind of I think in terms of mil.
Yeah.
I would think, yeah. So I would do 2 drops of essential oil per 5 ml. So I'm not ounces actually is. I can't transfer ounces to.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can just ask ChatGPT
Yes, GPT knows everything.
to do the conversions for you or Google.
Yeah, it's actually very useful, isn't it?
But are there any oils if say a massage therapist just wanted to have a few on hand, do you have a list of like these are generally safe? Because I've seen lists like that here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I would, yeah. A nice selection would be a couple of citrus oils like bergamot and grapefruit. And they are safe to use unless you're going to go out and bite sunlight or use a sunbed within 48 hours. So then you can just be, and that's only on skin that's going to be exposed. So that's kind of all right. Lavender is a really, really good all rounder. It balances the mood. It's good for pain. It balances sebum produced by the skin, so good for all skin types, etc. Chamomile is another very kind of calming oil. You do need to be aware though of what your clients like, because the client's preference is
Yeah.
really important. If they don't like it, they won't have the relaxation effect. Another oil that is really good is benzoin, benzoin. And benzoin, it's kind of a bit of a vanilla scent, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's no contraindications, and it's fantastic for pain as well. I've known people use it for arthritis and get amazing relief from it.
Oh, that's a new one for me.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I've seen it, but I've never I don't know. It's kind of an odd name. S
it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what about peppermint?
Peppermint is lovely, but peppermint is very overpowering.
Yeah.
So I would use it like for maybe a pre-event sports massage or something like that, or I'd use it in a sugar scrub for reflexology to sort of freshen the feet and energize, but not for relaxating. But it's also a very good painkiller, and it's absolutely fantastic for migraine headaches. Really for migraine headaches and any kind of cold stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Another one that's really good is ylang ylang. Ylang ylang actually it works in a very physical way, but it has a very emotional effect. It controls the amount of adrenaline, it controls your heart rate, and it controls your breathing. And it is amazing for like anxiety attacks or for long term stress. And I had somebody who was talking to me and saying that she was going through a difficult time and she was using a lang all the time. And she goes, Jenny, is there any possibility that I might get addicted to a lang? And I said, yeah. And what's your problem?
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm addicted to coffee, but I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's once you're using the essential oils properly, it doesn't matter how often you use them. And you
Right.
no.
Okay, well, because I was gonna ask that, like, I'm sure, like you were saying, you can overdo it,
Mm. Yeah,
but if you're using the right amounts,
yeah.
there's nothing like, I don't know, like some medications you wanna cycle on and off of them, but is there anything like that with aromatherapy where you could build up a resistance to it and it might not work?
No, no, I've never experienced that. Just there are kind of certain oils you mightn't use if somebody has epilepsy or if somebody has high blood pressure. And there's one oil in particular that I saw actually causing somebody's blood pressure to raise when they didn't have a history of it, and that was peppermint. But she was using it in very strong doses, and she had it in the car, and she had it in the house, and she was it was just like everywhere she went was peppermint. And when she was doing the course with me, I had to kind of say to her a few times, "Just do a blend without peppermint." "But I love peppermint." "I know you do. Put the peppermint down. Put the peppermint down." "Okay. Yeah. Step back." "For the peppermint." "Okay. Drop your gun. Drop it."
So as a teacher, what's one of the, you know, as you're teaching this aromatherapy and stuff, have you had students that have just kind of like, I know myself, I can be really stubborn when I'm learning something new. I'll just be like, "I don't get it. It's not making sense to me." And then all of a sudden, it'll go click. Uh, So do you find that you have those moments with students in your courses?
Yeah, I would have people who might be reluctant to kind of use a particular oil. "I haven't used that before," and I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, but that's why you're doing the course." Like, you use the oils. And, I did have somebody who sent me in, an assessment one time, John, it was about how to use essential I can't remember what it was, but it's something to do with essential oils anyway. To make up an aromatherapy kit for somebody who was going in to have a baby, and kind of tell me a bit about your kit. And she sends me back the assignment, and I'm looking at it and going, "Hmm." And my son was there. So I said, "Luke, just take a little look at that." And he says, "Yeah, okay. Can you tell me what's wrong with it, given that it's an aromatherapy assignment?" Um, "She hasn't used any essential oils." It's like, "No, that's the purpose of the course."
Yeah. So I guess you had to go back and, help her with that one.
Oh, yeah, I have to kind of say, "Okay, look, you really need to use essential oils because that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to teach you, and the other things are great and they would be very helpful, but, tell me about essential oils you might use as well."
Yeah. So I just think that this is, aromatherapy and massage, it's just I mean, of course, we know it's a great combination,
Oh, yeah.
but I feel like it's such a good opportunity for massage therapists to kind of take their practice to another place.
Completely, absolutely, yeah. Mm. And what it also does, as well as actually using the oils in the massage, and massage, as we know, is painkilling and it's relaxing, but you add something like a blend of grapefruit, lavender, benzoyl, and ylang ylang to that, and it's just a whole new level. And you could also then make them a blend to take home with them, or give them an option. So that's going to help with your income as well, and it'll help them a lot. If they can have a couple of baths during the week with the oils, it'll really help.
Yeah. And so and that, you would make that for your client and, let's say you're gonna make I'm gonna talk in ounces. It's how my brain works. Say you're gonna make a small bottle for your client to take home, and maybe that's gonna last them 2 to 4 weeks. How much would you charge for something like that for a custom blend?
Depending on the amount of oils, or not the amount, on which oils I'm using, because some oils are much more than other oils, and then the clearing oils can be expensive as well. I charge between 12 and €20,
Yeah.
which is similar to dollars. I think dollars are a little bit
Mhm.
or a little bit slightly higher than dollars.
Yeah, so around $20, and then,
Yeah.
um, what would you say your cost would be to make that, maybe $5?
Yeah, in around $5. If
Yeah.
there's a hundred drops in the essential oil bottle, so you can kind of work out roughly
Yeah.
how much it's going to cost you. And then, yeah, obviously charge for your bottles, and I'm always saying to people, take all your costs into account,
Yeah.
and take your time into account, and your experience into account, because you have to go off and learn all that knowledge. That didn't come to
Mhm.
you in the
Yeah.
rain.
I mean, and this is something, of course, you know me, I love all these little income streams because they can really add up. I mean, if you're making
Guilty.
10 custom blends a month,
Yeah,
that could be $150 to $200 of profit.
absolutely, absolutely,
Eh,
yeah. Yeah,
I mean, that's great. That helps cover the overheads or,
yeah.
you know.
And you can even advertise on your website and on social media that you actually make blends with if even someone isn't coming for a treatment. And if your clients like it, let them know, or let your friends know if they ever need anything sort of thing. Because I'd often get people ringing me and saying, "Can you make me 6 blends? One is for this, one is for this, one is for this."
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah, so it could be a whole and I just think it's so as it's easy in massage to kind of get in a rut or we're just seeing like most of my clients need upper back, neck and shoulders, or lower back, like 90%.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's like I get bored. So I just feel like the having something new and fresh to learn about and to integrate into your practice is always just keeps us inspired.
Yes, yes. And when you see how much more it affects your clients, it makes you feel great. I know massage
Yeah.
makes you feel great too, and you see amazing benefits. When you see those, like, doubled, it's brilliant,
Yeah.
really.
And just fun. I think it's fun.
Oh, fun and exciting and pat yourself on the back and being buzzed though, seeing somebody coming in pain and when they leave and they're looking brighter and it's just, it just
Yeah.
you can't duplicate that feeling with anything else.
And it's just I think it's so nice though to have that take home product because then, your client is going to use that and keep getting the benefits of your treatment
Yeah.
for weeks. They're also gonna think about you every time they use it.
Yes. I say to people as well, if you are selling products, make sure that you have your name and your website on the label,
Yeah.
so they see it all the time.
And when they run out, they're just it's kind of a just like, "Oh, time to book. Time to book my appointment." And, one thing we do where I work that we have a little collection of oils. So if it's a birthday client, they can have a free aromatherapy upgrade. And most people get lavender. But anyway, it's just such a simple thing to send that automatic email out.
Yeah.
But I have noticed over the past year, like, how many clients come in and they're like, "I'm here for my birthday massage."
Yeah.
And they get that free $10 upgrade, and it's just so simple because it's just a great way to remind clients, like,
Yeah.
it's come treat yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if a client is booking for a massage, say, I want a back, neck, and shoulder massage, and I'd say, "Would you like an aromatherapy upgrade with that?" And you go,
Pain
"Yeah."
blend,
Oh,
especially.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a yeah, and I just to me, I think it's a lot of therapists can be shy about offering those upgrades and things, but if somebody's there to get help and to get out of pain,
Yeah.
they want all the options.
Absolutely. And like, 'cause I say to people as well, when you're offering something like that, you're not forcing anyone. All you're doing is opening a door.
Yeah,
They can go if they want. If they say no, that's absolutely fine.
yeah. I always my example is it's no harder than asking somebody if they like a cup of tea.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
"Would you like a cup of tea?" It's a yes or
Yeah.
no. You're not going to
Just say you
get
have to have a cup of tea. You can have one if you want. And I say to people as well, like, how would you feel if you were going to a therapist and you were getting good results and it was good. But then if your friend went and your friend said, "Oh my God, I went to Gael. And you know what? I had no pain at all after she used this beautiful blend of essential oils that she offered me before I went in." I'd be kind of saying, "What? She didn't offer me. Why didn't she tell me?"
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So, you know how in the massage industry, we have these, like, trends that come and go?
Yeah.
Like, for a few years, like, oh, hot stones were the biggest thing, and everybody was learning hot stones, and cupping is kind of been more recent, and then there's the bamboo sticks.
Oh, that's right. I haven't used them.
Is there anything that you've kind of seen that you think might make a comeback or that you think should just be I don't know, anything that you think is gonna be the next big thing? CCT oil. Oh,
I just think that there's quite a trend for using essential oils in products and in beauty products,
Mhm.
and that's getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
And it
So
are
and I think that through that, the general public is getting more aware of essential oils.
yeah, yeah. And I always say to my students, you know, when you're on Facebook or whatever talking about essential oils, you kind of have, if you had this knowledge, you sort of have a duty to not necessarily to give away for nothing, but to tell people how you can help them and where they can go for the next step. Like I had horrendous TMS problems when I was a teenager, and if I had known that essential oils would have made a huge difference to it, it would have changed my life for years.
Yeah. Um, so if somebody wants to learn more and connect with you, where can they go?
I'd say the easiest thing is to pop along to my website, which we put in the show notes here, or you can contact me through Facebook or Instagram, and we'll stick the handle in the show notes here as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys, Jenny always has some wonderful resources on her website, things you can grab for free to just check out some of her recipes and mini courses and all kinds of fun stuff there. And then you run your courses several times a year. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I probably would launch the aromatherapy course about maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and the same with the reflexology.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Well, I'm so glad that you could join me today. I definitely learned a lot about essential oils. There's always, it's like I've dabbled in essential oils, but there's so much to it. It's really amazing. It's hard to pick your next thing that you want to get into.
I know, we absolutely never stop learning.
Yeah. So, okay, so I have a just for fun question.
Okay.
And this week's question is, what's your favorite kind of soup?
Um, Sweet potato, carrot, and squash,
Oh, yes.
especially this time of year. Oh my god,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. I like to make butternut squash soup.
Yeah, yes, that's what I meant actually. Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me as Adam. Thanks everybody out there for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Massage and Spa Success Podcast with me, Gail Wood. Remember, new episodes drop every Wednesday morning, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more tips and resources and free gifts, visit elevatewithgail.com, and I'll see you on the next episode.